Hello, my fellow hunters, or more specifically, my fellow wielders of grossly oversized yet deeply satisfying weaponry. It's time to talk Safi'jiiva Great Sword and what it's meant for the very best Great Sword build, because it's meant a lot. Yes, that's right. We get to hit things even harder than before. Yes! Though I will warn you that it does mean we have to use something. I think it's called. Let me just check my notes here. I don't have to say this very often. Status. A status on our weapon. But it's okay, it's alright, it's still better, you could just leave it there, doing its thing, you don't have to think about it. Look, alright, great swords, what we like. So, this here then was the best build before, and depending on whether you put jewels in for comfiness or full-on speed running, you would still use the same one, just min-maxed in different ways. So now that Safi is out, are you ready? This is the new Optimum Armor Set! Yeah, it's exactly the same. Oh, Lord. But, you know, I guess Teostrand is efficient, and, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I will say that despite using the same pieces, the charm has changed. We now have Agitator, because we no longer need Handicraft, and that is very nice. A lot more build real estate to make use of on pure attacky things. And then, of course, let's stop beating around the Safi'jiiva and talk the Safi weapon. Now, firstly, the question of which element or which status do Greatsword wants, because we can't use Elementless. Well, the answer is we want Blast. Now, the reason for that is firstly the elements get removed, because out of 1500 damage on average that you deal with a Greatsword, a grand total of 30, yes, 30 will come from element. So, that is out the window. So looking at status, the choice is really Poison or Blast. Blast proc is 300, and even on 1-star week, it procs decently over an average hunt, even a short one. So that outclasses element by a long way, since to rival even 2 blast procs worth of damage, you'd needing to be deal around 30,000 damage, which, well, kills the monster dead. So, then we talk Poison as the other alternative, and if we average the damage it will deal across the various weaknesses monsters have to it, it's about 300 over 10 ticks each time it procs, so a blast proc, and you'll probably get about the same amount, but we have 2 bits of blast attack on the Teostra Waste that we still will be using, that we still have to use. So that, quite simply, puts Blast over the edge, and, well, that's the one to go for. But honestly, the status effectiveness is so little that really, choose any of them that you want, choose the colored glow that you like, hell, go sleep and get a big wake-up hit because that's fun. It really doesn't matter all that much. I just get a real bit of satisfaction knowing that finally those 2 ranks of blast attack that have been just staring at me in the face are not wasted. So, the awakening skills on this greatsword that you need to go for. This is going to shock you, alright? This is going to absolutely shock you. But for greatswords, what we need is attack 5. Attack 5. Attack 5. Attack 6. And attack 5! Yep, that's the one. So, essentially, get ready to sit at the smithy doing this. forever and a day. This gives you a huge, coupled with augments, which need to be health and attack, because the affinity is wasted, given that we get that 10% extra from the 5% on the weapon and another 5% from attack, because you can just fit more attack skills into this. So yeah, we grab an extra attack augment on the smithy, and we have a monstrously powerful 325 raw attack weapon. Now, every other weapon gets plus 10 from attack 5 and 15 from 6. Greatsword gets 9 and 14 respectively, because thanks, Capcom, I guess. Wouldn't want us hitting too large a number now, would we? And then with the attack augment, we arrive at 325, which is 15 more than Rajang, the previous highest for comparison. And, well, a bit of blast on top too. Lovely. Now, there is, strictly technically speaking, a more effective combination that nets you roughly 1-ish% more damage output at the cost of being a lot more irritating to use. And that is doing either Sharpness 6 and full attack, or 2 Sharpness 5s and full attack. These give you purple, but in order for those to be better via the purple Sharpness multiplier, which in Iceborne is really not that much better than white, hence why white is fine with the full attack model, you need to have a consistent plus 65 attack. So for example, level 5 Agitator gives you plus 20, so you still need 45 more. So in essence, if you're going to go the Sharpness route, while it is slightly more damaging, you need to be permanently buffed up with all the attack buffs all the time, and then you also have tiny amounts of Sharpness that you need to manage, a la Acid Glavinus, which, let's be honest, I think we'd all like to be free of, and we are with the full just attack route, because we have a monstrously large amount of white, and I've yet to have to sharpen with this thing. So if you want to be super efficient, yeah, go for that. If not, let's just go full big, hit things hard, do more damage max, yes please. So given that the armor is the same and we just changed the charm, this is what I end up going for to give it the most oomph possible. Now, technically speaking, you can use double attack in place of my attack flight, attack fortify. I don't have them yet because, let's be honest, I'm not going to get them for the rest of the expansion, and I do admittedly really like having Fortify just there for guiding lines, so I don't have to swap builds. I like having Flight because I can't deny I still really like Aerial Greatsword, so it's nice to mitigate the nerfs to it. Other than that, you can just slot this how you want. The point is, because of the lack of handicraft needed, you have so much more space for just more boom, more utility if you're feeling that way inclined too. Technically, 2 focus is optimum, but I can't stand not having the 3rd. It just feels that tiny bit better, but you can replace that with maybe peak performance if you're confident in your not get hit by things. But essentially, you're just going for filling out Agitator, then as much attack as possible while having all the other air quotes required skills like your crit boost, your raw affinity, and your focus and health boost, and all of that good stuff. Now, technically, you only need rank 6 critical eye for the 30% instead of the 40% at rank 7, so you could squeeze in an extra attack. That's because, given attack 4 and 5% on the weapon, you get that 10% back there sort of built in. But I'd rather just have the extra 10% for a single level 1 gem slot, have more crits on non-softened parts, and then, well, work my sharpness even more, because it's just comfier that way. But if you're going full optimum, then sure, replace it with just a random attack decoration. Other than that, then, there's really nothing huge to write home about here. It's very simple for us Greatsworders. Get the status that is your favorite, or blast for maximum optimum, put just all the attack everywhere, both on the weapon and in your build, and start hitting things as hard as a Sapphire of the Emperor. Thanks, Safi!
You're welcome. Now please, let me sleep.
So, hopefully that is helpful for you guys to know. You probably already do by this point, but how could I not give an update to Greatsword when it's the one weapon that I feel super confident in talking about, at least in a meta sense. The others I love doing the niche little fun builds, which are just my absolute pride and joy to create, but when it comes to Greatsword, well, I like to do the maximum possible pow without going full speedrun, I guess, because that literally is the maximum possible pow. And eventually, what I'm saying is nothing of any value or worth. So, without further ado, I will let you guys get back to, let's be real here, probably more Safi'jiiva farming, despite the wonderful festival that has begun. Until then, until next time, my name has been Josh. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Blast-powered Safi sword! It's just not the same.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kinda relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.